is far too cold to be almost Lent, but it is almost Lent. And it's very, very cold. As we all know. I'm sure I've said, in fact I know I've said many times, the parable of the prodigal son is actually my favorite passage from Scripture. And it's here to help us prepare for great and holy Lent. It's here to help us have a fruitful Lent, so that then we may come to the joyous feast of Pascha and experience that feast's full joy and its full power. The gospel parable of the prodigal son reminds us of something very basic and very essential to our faith. That we have a Father who loves us, and a Father who, when we find ourselves in sin, is ready and waiting and anxious to welcome us home, to welcome us back into the family. The prodigal son decides he's going to try to make a deal. And he comes up with this deal. He's going to come home, but he's not going to be the father's son anymore. He's just going to work in the fields. He doesn't get what he thinks that he wants. He gets something even more. He gets something even greater. He gets something that maybe he couldn't even imagine. His place in the household, his place in the family is restored. Not after having to earn it back, but simply by showing back up. His place in the family is restored, and he's being given more than he could have imagined, much more than he was ever going to ask for. And that's the lesson for every one of us. Have you ever encountered anyone who said something like, "Oh, it's been so long. If I went back into the church, the roof would cave in"? Well, maybe we don't want to say that a little too loud. But that being said, this gospel passage is the answer to the person who says that, who thinks that, who maybe believes that they're not worthy to come back, that they're not worthy to come home. We have a Father who loves us. The Son didn't even have to knock on the door. We're told the Father was watching for him. And before he even gets to the front of the house, the Father runs out to greet him, to welcome him. That's what awaits each and every one of us, if we're willing to accept it. This son was. The older son, not so much. But even he had lessons to learn too. Just because the father's love was there for the younger son who would come home, he didn't love the older son any less. His love for his older son didn't change, because the son who was dead is now alive. The son who was lost has now been found. We have a merciful and loving God waiting for each and every one of us. Our reminder as we prepare in just a couple of short weeks to start Great and Holy Lent is to be willing to admit to ourselves and to God when we find ourselves separated from Him, when we find ourselves in sin. And we shouldn't be ashamed of coming home. We shouldn't be ashamed of trying to repair that relationship, because that's exactly what our loving and merciful Father is waiting for. To Jesus Christ be glory, now and ever, ages of ages.